In this video then, we're going to move on from noughts and crosses and indeed animation and images in general. And we're going to see how we can incorporate maps into our apps. So let's start with a new project. Single view application, and I'll just call it maps. So actually, incorporating a basic map is extremely straightforward. It just gets a little bit more complicated when you want to customize that map. So we start off in the storyboard and we look for a MapKit view. There we go. So drag it in the usual way. I'll make it a big full screener. And we'll set the constraints to stretch full screen all the way around. And then all we need to do is to create an IB outlet for our map. So control drag as usual. I'll just call it map. And then in viewcontroller.swift, we add two things. First off, we import MapKit, which will enable us to use all the map related functions. And then we add MK map view delegate to again allow the view controller to control the map. And that's it. We should find that now when we run the app, we see a nice big full screen map right there in our app. And there it is. You can see I've got a map of the United Kingdom here. We haven't specifically shared our location, so it's only showing a very rough location on the map as it stands. So that's how we get our basic map. Usually, of course, we're going to want to zoom in on some particular location. So let's see how we do that over in ViewDidLoad. There's quite a few lines of code, but don't worry, they're all fairly straightforward. So first off, we set up a latitude for our map. This is going to have a type of CL location degrees. And it's worth specifying the type here, because if we don't, it will just set it to a float and then we'll likely have to cast it later on. So be clear what the type is right at the beginning. We'll see where 40.7 ends up for us. Then we're going to create a longitude, which is also a CL location degrees. And this one we're going to set to minus 73.9. Obviously you can set these to whatever you like. From minus 180 to 180 that is. Oh, and that should not have a space after the minus. The lat delta is essentially the zoom level of the map. It's the number of degrees difference along the latitude of the map that we're going to view. So normally 0.05 is a reasonable start. Then we'll set lon delta. Again, CL location degrees, and again 0.05. Then we create what's known as a span, which is essentially a combination of lat delta and lon delta to show the overall zoom level of the map. This is going to have a type of MK for MapKit coordinate span. And we're going to create it using MK coordinate span. And it's going to come from a latitude delta, which is of course lat delta, and a longitude delta, which is lon delta. All right, we're getting there. Just a couple more things to make. Next, we make a location, which has a type of CL for core location, location coordinate 2D, so 2D location coordinate, and we create that in the way hopefully you'd expect. CL location coordinate 2D, we create it from a latitude, which is latitude, and a longitude, which for us is longitude. So we're just creating a location, pair of coordinates from those two individual coordinates. Next, we define a region, which has a type of MK coordinate region, which is made up of a combination of the location and the span. We make it from MK coordinate region, and the center is going to be our location, and the span is going to be our span. And finally, we've created all the variables that we need. So we use map and set the region. The region is, of course, region, and you can choose whether you want it to be animated. I always say, why not? So we'll make that true. Phew. So it looks like a lot of lines, but really you're just gradually defining all the variables that you need. You could do this all in one line if you really wanted, but it would be a little bit horrendous, and this makes it a lot clearer what's going on. Obviously, these four numbers are the only things that are actually distinguishing your location and zoom level. So let's take a look. Here we go. You can see the squares are smaller, and there you go. You can see we're zoomed in on this area of New York, and we can drag it about and zoom around, but it's pretty slow here on the emulator. There you go. Okay, so a quick challenge for you, just to get these things clear in your head. I want to get rid of what's there, and I want you to choose a location around the world and zoom your map on that location. I'll show you how you can use Google Maps to get the coordinates of any location. So if, for example, you wanted to choose the Taj Mahal, which would be a great choice, I think, then you can actually see the coordinates right there in the URL, so 27.17 and 78.03, but you can also control click on the marker and click what's here, and that gives you the coordinates there as well. So pick a landmark or your own house and see if you can write the code from scratch to get your Apple Map to zoom in to that location. Good luck. All right, hope you managed it. So I'm going to select those numbers, go back over to Xcode, pop those in, and here we go. So we start with latitude, which is a CL location degrees. And that is, not sure how many decimal places it will allow us actually. Let's see if we can get away with all of them. No, probably not. Just go for one. Okay, and then longitude, again, CL location degrees, so 78.0. And then we'll have our land delta, CL location degrees. We'll keep that at 0.05. Long delta, same as before. Then we'll create our span. Now here, we can actually do without the type definition. Because it's creating an MK coordinate span, so there won't be any confusion. And we can just put in land delta and long delta. So just a shortcut, but you might want to specify the type anyway. And then the coordinates. So this is CL location coordinate 2D, being created with a latitude, which is latitude, and a longitude, which is longitude. Almost there now. We create our region, which is an MK coordinate region. We're going to create it from our center, which is coordinates, and span, which is span. Finally, we create our map and we set the region to our region and set animated to be true. I hope you managed to remember all of that. If not, it should be in your head more now than it was before, at least. Let's see if this centers on the Taj Mahal. And there we go. It's not the exact same location, but it is only to 1 decimal place, so for that, it's not too bad. Alright, so that's how we set up maps in our apps. In the next video, we'll see how to customize them by adding annotations and allowing the user to add their own annotations with a long press. See you there.